Hey, everybody, it is Jim Johnson, your host here with Contractor Radio and the head coach at Contractor Coach Pro, where we help contractors get control of their business by becoming better leaders so they can grow their business and scale it to that thing that they had envisioned when they started so that they can achieve some personal and financial freedom in the end. That's what we do. We do it every day. We've helped hundreds of contractors. If you want help with something like that, feel free to go with our website and contractorcoachpro.com. Click on the assessment button. Take our assessment. It takes about 15 minutes to get that done. But if you'll do it, we'll do a free coaching call with you. Not a sales pitch, an actual coaching call where we'll give you 2 or 3 things that you should be working on right now to grow and scale your business and achieve even more as you continue to grow. Today, I'm super excited. I have a guest on, and I'm a bit of a tech nerd. If you guys haven't figured that part out yet, I love that kind of stuff. I like talking about AI. I like talking about efficiency and effectiveness, processes, automation, those type of things. And I feel like we've got an expert on here today. This guy has been involved with multiple startups, several startups. A lot of those that he's been involved with have been acquired for hundreds of millions of dollars. We might want to pay attention today because we are going to be talking about a subject where sometimes you guys check out on this finances stuff. He is the founder of a company called Clear.io that tracks expenses and manages those, but automates them all for you so you have the information that you need when you're looking at it. So you don't have to go and round up a whole bunch of receipts and stuff. It's going to make it actually easier for you as an owner to understand your cash flow, your expenses on your business. So don't get out of here. Pay attention today. This is one of those things, and I talk about this all the time. There are 2 main reasons why contractors go out of business. Number 1 is lack of leadership skill. The rising tide lifts all boats, and if your skill isn't there, you're going to be unlikely to succeed as a growth type contractor. The other reason is financial acumen. Not having a good grip on your finances and knowing your numbers and making sure that you're profitable at all times. Understanding your cash flow, your profit and loss, your balance sheet, all of those things are super important. This is the time to bear down and go learn the thing that may not be of the most interest for you, but we're going to make it a million times easier for you. And so I'm excited to bring on Omer. He is the founder of Clear.io and several other fun things we might talk about today. Omer, good to have you on board.
Jim, thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's like we started talking. I went, "Hey, I know all those people you work with, and you knew who I had worked with in the past. So we're going to have a lot in common here to talk about today." I was asking you a little bit about your business and things like that. Can you let the listeners in on a little bit of like your background and how you got to here and working with home service contractors?
Yeah, 100%. Well, started when I was 7. I've always been a nerd. Basically, got into the technical side of things. I'm Israeli originally, so my house was one of the first houses in the country that had the internet in around 87, 80. Yeah, so around that time.
That's been a minute because that's the year I graduated high school. So
yeah, working on it. Give me a couple years. I have always been fascinated by technology, by automation, by marketing as well. And I founded a couple of businesses, sold one, exited the other, have been involved in the marketing side with quite a few startups that did pretty well in spite of me being involved with them. Kidding, they owe it all to me. And at the end of the day, I landed with Clear, and not your typical founder journey that find themselves in the contractor space. Because I mean, I always tell the story of how I used to live with my ex-girlfriend and I tried to hang a mirror and made a huge hole in the wall of the apartment right behind ours. So that was my experience with being a contractor. But no, it's just that I found it to be a world where there was a ton of super professional people that are so passionate about what they do. And there's this huge technological gap where if you just show them, they're all intelligent people, right? They're just wired differently to do a very different type of work. If you show them how technology can enhance and automate and optimize their workflows, they can 10x themselves really, really easily. And I mean, if I wasn't technical, it would sound like, landing on the moon. I know it's not. I know it's as easy as I'm not going to say it's a 3-step process. It's definitely not as complicated as some people make it out to be. And it's right there. It's a low-hanging fruit, just ripe for the bit.
I couldn't agree more. Being process oriented in what you do, making that thing repeatable so it becomes a well-oiled machine is what allows you to actually scale. That's the thing that allows you to scale, and applying technology in a lot of those areas can 10x, 20x, 100x some of these businesses pretty fast. So why the fintech? So for those of you that don't know, that's financial technology. Why was that the gap that you saw?
So, I mean, fintech is definitely the umbrella term. I would say it's more on it's both fintech, but also workflows, right? So let's use the big pain point that Clear solves, right? A contractor or one of their team or field techs goes to a Home Depot. They buy something for $100. Now there's a receipt that came into existence, right? That receipt, from that point, there's 6 to 10 touch points in the business until that transaction is matched and reconciled and the books are closed, right? The receipt has to exist. The guy has to give it to the office person. Before they even get there, it's stuffed in their glove compartment or something similar. Somebody has to remind somebody else to bring that receipt in. And once it's in, somebody has to find out, hey, Bob, where's that receipt? Which job is that from? It's from 3 weeks ago. Bob,
PO numbers are important.
Yeah. So nobody knows it. Like I said, 6 to 10 touch points, 2 to 4 different people in the organization have to deal with that specific silly receipt for, it could be $20, doesn't have to be $100. And that's on, a good day. That's when Bob didn't accidentally use the company card and not his personal card for a personal purchase. This can take 50 to 100 hours sometimes for a business, not to mention lost revenue for that business that they just aren't even aware of. So that's the gap we saw.
So I have a question. It seems to me like there's some other pieces of software that do something similar. For example, like we use Smart Receipts. I've used Expensify in the past. What makes Clear different from those two, like so contractor specific?
Well, what makes the difference is that it is contractor specific. That's how we built it. We built it with the right client, owner, project, job hierarchy. That's one thing. So everything in Clear ties into a project or a job, essentially, at the end of the day, right out of the box. We also made it integrate into the platforms that contractors use today. Jobber, Service Titan, Service Fusion, House Call Pro, a bunch of others across multiple, sub-industries were there, and we do a two-way sync. So we'll pull all of your team members and all of your jobs as they come in into Clear, so you can code it to that job. And when that job is done, it's not going to be on Clear either. So your techs have a completely seamless and simple process to follow for them to code that receipt in real time. That is one thing. The other issue with the Expensifys of the world is that they work on an expense report basis. And that's it's an old-timey object that has no room in 2023. Nobody is going to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen or the digital version of that at the end of the day and start filling in, I had these 5 transactions. These are 5 expenses. Please approve them. It's just not how these businesses work today. So we've skipped all of that. Everything is on a per transaction basis, all in real time. And that's the big difference between us and the other platforms. They're great platforms. They just don't fit contractors as well.
So I'm the guy. I'm out in the field. We're short a bundle of shingles or a piece of pipe for plumbing or whatever it may be, right? And I run to Home Depot. I get this receipt. What does it look like from there? Do I take a picture of it, put a PO number with it? Does it auto read it, or do I got to put in some numbers? What does that look like?
All great questions. So we tried to make this as simple as possible. And we actually used to have a mobile app for people to download and use. We got so much pushback from the industry for that, right? Nobody wants to use another app, but everybody knows how to text. So that's all you have to do. You snap a photo, you text it to a number that we give you. We will text back a link to a short form. That form is going to ask you, which job is it for? What category is it? And if you want to add a note, we will already automatically, filter out the merchant, the date, the amount. We have all of that automatically. Nobody has to do anything. And then once you submit that, our AI goes through everything the team has submitted and matches it to the correct transaction. So everything is completely matched and reconciled in real time.
Wow, that's pretty slick. It's funny. I don't want another app. You're right. I'm a text message person. I tend to tell people, like, even in communicating with me, like, hey, if it's something you need, text me and I'll get back to you right away. If it's a longer thing, email it to me. If it's several questions, if it's like highly like you need me to talk to you, leave a voicemail because I'm probably on the line with somebody while you're calling, but I will get back to you. But I prefer text. Like it's just easy and fast for me to do. Whose idea was that? Like instead of an app to do it by text,
Honestly,
was it just user based? Like they gave you so much pushback that you had to do something different?
I wish we could have claimed credit for the idea, but it really was the user base. They were like, we don't want an app. Why can't we just text it? And we started answering, well, you can't text it because, oh, wait, why can't you text it? And then we built it, and now they can text it. They can also email it if they're in the office or something. But these are the two ways to send us receipts.
So I take a picture and I text just the picture, or do I need to put anything with it? Just the picture itself to this number?
Just the picture.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm excited. That's super easy. Number one, your software then reads it and says, okay, this goes to this, sends a form back and has me put the job name or PO number or whatever with it, and that's about it?
Exactly. And because we're integrated with the jobbers of the world, we know exactly which jobs you are, as a field tech, are assigned to currently. So you only see your jobs. You have the 3 to 5 jobs you have open. There's no way to mess it up. It's super simple, super quick. And when you're done with all of that,
you're giving those field techs a lot of credit. No way to mess it up. We'll find a way, man. That's who we are. No, that's pretty cool. That is pretty awesome. So it sounds like it solves a lot of like getting the information back and forth, but is there like a list of things that you said, hey, there's a gap in this financial part of what people do that if we could nail these 3 to 5 things that would make them really happy? Is there anything like that you base your strategy off of?
Yeah. So happy is a big word. You know, some people would never be happy, right? But that's not the thing. The thing is, how do we help them grow their business? And that was always our North Star. So right now they're spending these, 50, 100 hours sometimes on chasing receipts and everything. And I can tell them, listen, this pays for itself because we save you so much time. And that's all nice. And I'm sure we'd get a bunch of users that way as well. But where we really help these people grow is by making job costing available to them. Now, everybody talks about job costing. I know on this podcast, you guys have spoken about that. It's super important, right? How can you grow the business if you're actually losing money on every job? But
that's a bad idea usually.
Bad idea. It doesn't work. But talking about it and doing it are two separate things. And when you're, a plumber or a locksmith or a garage door installation person, and you have 10 jobs a day, how can you even realistically do that and actually get it done in real time? You can't. And then your job costing process, if it even happens in the rear view mirror a month and a half later, and it's too late. Now, with Clear, that's done in real time, in the moment. Once the job is done, you know exactly how much you made, how much it cost you to make the amount you made, and it gets pushed into your ERP, CRM, whatever it is you're using to be balanced against the revenue. So
it was always a challenge, right? Like you can do forecasting all you want. And the bigger the project and the more things involved, trades, like if you do multiple stuff, like you're a remodeler or something like that, you better have a budget. You better know your cost. You better estimate it right. You better sign the contract right. Make sure profitability is there. But as time runs on, there's like this little add-on, that little add-on. The person doesn't do a change order. And all of a sudden that job that was coming in at 25, 35% profit is now 5 or 10% profit. How do you guys address any of that with your software?
Yeah, so we definitely show budgeting, and it's you can see how you track towards the overall budget inside Clear. And that's definitely a feature a lot of our users use. I mean, Jim, you've been doing this for way longer than I have. You're the expert. I'm sure you know that, just like you said, I don't want to say most, but a lot of these projects go over budget continuously. Like this is how this business is run. It's not that, yeah, once in a while we get some leakage. No, leakage is the regular state of affairs. And if on a project you actually nail the budget, that's, people pop champagnes then. So this is exactly how, and we've heard that actually from a lot of our users, that this is the first time they actually know what the budget tracking is as they're going through the project and not after closing.
That's amazing. So let me see if I understand things right. So I'm in my software, my CRM, whatever it is. I'm putting my estimate together. It's showing me my cost from my database, right? So I have a database backing that up. So I see my profitability of the forecast. That's my budget saying, hey, this is where it should be. And then you guys get in the middle in real time. You're tracking along, comparing to that budget the whole time. Like, hey, is that right? Not right. And then even before I get to the end of the project, I could catch that and go, hey, wait a minute, you guys are way overspending here. What are you out there doing? Why are you doing it that way? Why'd you choose this? And stop a problem before it even happens.
Not only that, you know exactly where the hole in the bucket is, so to speak. You know who's the person who's overspending, what category they're overspending on, which merchant. If you thought your, Lowe's lumber is going to be $5,000 and you end up spending $7,000, you know that in real time very easily, essentially.
That's pretty cool. That's so. Is there any AI involved with this? Artificial intelligence that's taking this receipt and doing the things that it does? Like, is that a part of what you guys do, or is there any kind of reporting that looking across the data that's happening for a company that says, "Hey, you could save money here, or you could do this there, and solve some problems"? Have you guys gone down that road at all?
Yeah, so we're definitely leveraging AI as a couple of tech guys can be expected to do in two main ways. Way number one is reading the data on the receipts correctly. And that's another thing where we're slightly different than the incumbents, the Concurs and the Expensifies. So we leverage AI plus OCR technology to get actual real data, even when the receipt is all crumpled. We've all seen them. So we get the correct data.
One of those,
You stuff it in your pocket and then you hope for the best. We still save the data then. That's one way. The other way is that we automatically match the type of spend to categories. And so we know, and the category comes from your chart of accounts in your QuickBooks or your NetSuite or your Sage. We grab that because we integrate into those as well. And we recommend what you should be attributing that expense towards in your chart of accounts. Now, QuickBooks does it too, but based on heuristics, meaning QuickBooks knows that Uber is always travel. But what if it's Uber Eats? Should be meals, right? And they don't have a solution for that across, every vendor in the universe. We look at how your business had categorized spend before, and we make the prediction based on your data and not on someone else's data, which makes the whole world difference, essentially.
So how much of my data are you able to see, and how protected is it?
That is the $1 million question. So
thank you. I'll take a check, please.
Okay, that is the $100 question then.
Oh, that's how it usually goes.
So we obviously use full bank level encryption. Not only that, the data that we get comes in through our banking platform. So we are directly integrated with Visa. So it's their encryption, with Amex, with MasterCard, if we can connect directly. If we can't, we go through a platform called Plaid, which is the largest platform for banking data in the US, in the world probably. So they obviously are under deep regulation for data security and such. We host our data on Amazon servers, so can't get anything more secure than Amazon probably. And your data is your own. So everything's encrypted, even on our servers. And if you want to delete your data, if you want to migrate off, then obviously nothing remains.
That's pretty cool. Plaid is because I'm not real sure. I've heard it before. I know it's a big thing. It's a little bit like a Stripe type setup. Is that right?
Stripe is more of a payment processor. Plaid is the middleman for financial data. So companies like us use Plaid to connect to Chase accounts, for example, and get the data. So we only have visibility of the data, but we can't control, we can't wire money, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So where do Where do contractors consistently lose money? Like, have you been able to start looking at the data and stuff from where you guys are, and like this is where it seems to be most consistent?
Yes, a lot of times they just miss expenses that need to be attributed to a job, and either they don't know about it until after the job is done and the client has paid the money, and they can't go back and say, "Hey, you actually owe us another $1,000 for this and this." That would be the number one by a very wide margin, because contractors are not great about, they're constantly chasing the next job, right? They're really good at making money, not so good at making sure that the money that they charge actually stays in their pocket. And it's exactly because of things like what I just mentioned. So that is number one by far. Track your expenses in real time. You don't even have to use something like Clear, right? Just do it with text photos of receipts to yourself or to the office manager. Get them to download those every end of day to a folder. Keep an Excel file and just have the office manager fill that out every day. Don't wait till the end of the month, because then it doesn't happen. There's too many of them. But at the end of every day, right? It's not a lot to ask. And I guarantee.
Hold on a second. How much does Clear cost?
So Clear costs $239 a month for up to 10 spenders.
It sounds like I could save that $239 in like one day, just in what I would be paying somebody to do a spreadsheet and to like manage folders and all the other garbage. You're like,
Jim, I'm biased.
You could do it for free, but
well, Jim, you can say that. I'm biased, so I can't say it's a no-brainer and that it pays for itself in the first day, but it does, right? But
I'm a math person. I'm a math and a time person. So I always do, hey, what's my return on investment? If I'm going to spend money, does it make me money or save me time? That is, if you buy software for any other reason, you should not buy software. It's just that simple to me. I really hate interrupting these videos, but I've got some important information for you. If you haven't tried out Atlas Shingles, you should, because they put you first as a contractor. They want to give you a competitive advantage out in the field so that you can win more sales and be more profitable. Check out Atlas in your local area, find your local rep, get hooked up with them today, and start making more money tomorrow. And so if I can save more in time on the expense that I would pay to somebody to do that, that they could be doing something else that might generate more revenue because they were doing that, it seems like a no-brainer.
That's our position, obviously. And even if it saves, 4 or 5 or 6 hours of your both tech, business owner, and office manager all trying to figure like one expense out, which obviously happens multiple times a day sometimes, obviously it's a no-brainer, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about actual lost dollars that have disappeared from your pocket that you forgot or didn't have the system to track, and that, it's just lost revenue. It's a client owes you money. He's never going to pay it because you missed it in real time. So
yeah, because that Home Depot or Lowe's or ABC or Beacon or whoever you're buying your materials from doesn't usually come through in a way that says, hey, this is my job, all that other good stuff. I mean, Beacon and ABC are a little better at it, but hey, this is your bill from Home Depot. Boom, pay it. And you pay it. And there was a little receipt in there that was supposed to be for this job, and nobody caught it for whatever reason. And those things add. I know from experience, we had a shoebox full of receipts and we went, I don't know what job that goes to. I have no idea. Like the guy would bring it in like 2 or 3 weeks after he made the purchase. We're trying to figure, we're like, what job? Because I can't remember. And so we would just literally like write it off. Like we try to figure out it was an overhead expense instead of a job cost expense, which shot our overhead through the roof, made our jobs less profitable, until we figured out a process to manage it, which sounded a lot like the one you gave me, which is, all right, let's create a spreadsheet, track every single thing, which was absolutely cumbersome. Why so passionate about this?
Like I said, I'm a tech guy. It means I love automations, I love optimization, and I love efficiency. And when I see a place where I can come in and provide these 3 things, and then actually see with my own 2 eyes how businesses and people's lives change like almost instantly, that gets me up in the morning. That this is the place. Look, I could have very easily gone into cybersecurity or something, right? There's a lot of me over there. But the improvement is marginal over there. All the smart tech guys are there.
Yeah, I got a buddy that's in that world, the cybersecurity world.
There you go.
And it's a pretty competition heavy world.
And here, people are super intelligent. but for a specific type of thing, or for a different type of thing, I should say. And when I come in with my expertise and my team's expertise, and we say, hey guys, look, this is how we suggest that you do this. Try it out, see what happens. And we see such a huge change. It's just amazing, right? This is what I'm passionate about.
So I have a question. Where does it all stop? Because this is one of those things I've been thinking about and haven't really talked with anybody about yet. So I'm going to bring it up to you. Sounds like this might fit your wheelhouse. Where does it all stop? We pay for a CRM. We pay for Clear. We pay for QuickBooks. We pay for a field sales management tool. There's so many tools, right? We pay for Chat GPT 4, all the different stuff that's out. Where do you start to have this law of diminishing returns that I'm paying for all this? So how can it possibly save me any more hours?
I think that's a great question. And I'm going to put on my entrepreneur / marketing consultant hat for a second here. And this is what I told every company I have helped in the past. Everyone's going to come at you with some sort of a commercial offer, right? There's a million types of services, SaaS, whatever, not even just software. It could be anyway. Everybody wants to sell you things.
Oh, I left out a whole bunch. Marketing guys that can get you 30 leads in 30 days, and business coaches that will help you, 20x your business, that kind of stuff. You got all these things, right, that you could spend money on. Where does it stop?
So my question is, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but does it need to stop? I mean, look at every specific, and I'll explain. I know coming from me, I'm obviously biased, but the CRM, can you imagine your life without the CRM? It costs money, right?
I can remember putting that thing out there for the very first time. The only thing that existed at the time was Salesforce, right? Which is super complicated. The home service guys are like, nope, don't want anything to do with that. And then we bring this thing called AccuLinks out to the world, and they like it, but using it was a bit of a challenge. It was new, but nowadays everybody's like, you don't have a CRM? What's wrong with you? It's so wild that has changed that much in 15 years.
And you can very easily tie the amount that AccuLinks or any CRM costs the business to revenue that you generate because you have it, or revenue that you might lose if you didn't have it. And so what I suggest is to always look at the ROI, right? If there's no ROI, the 30 leads in 30 days thing, I'm sure there are a few good ones. There are a couple of not so good ones. I mean, not to name
They're rare. It's rare, man. They might be able to do it for a month, maybe two, and then all of a sudden, what happened?
Right. So, I mean, but test them out, right? If the ROI is there, it's there. Same with Clear or any other SaaS. If the ROI is there, if you do see that we save you 20 hours plus we found $3,000 in lost potential revenue, then maybe buy Clear. If we don't, definitely don't buy Clear. This is the wrong investment. So as a business owner, I would say, always look for new tools, always look for new investments that facilitate the growth of your business. Try it out. If it doesn't work, all right, I've learned something new.
It's really good advice because I always tried to be out front. I'm one of those early adopter people. I will go try something, and I would usually try it on my own first. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go do this over here, do it on my own. Just, does it work? Does it not work? Okay, it doesn't work. Gone. See you later. But before I did any of that, I was like, if I use this thing, how many hours will it save me? And what does that compute to dollars? How much money will it save me? And what does that, that's pretty clear what it computes into dollars. And if there wasn't a significant plus, at least double or more, then it wasn't a reason. So I look at it as stock trading or investing. I'm putting in money. How much money do I get back? And it sounds like Clear does a pretty good job of that, of at least justifying it. Hey, there's your $239 that you spent. There's your $5,000 that you saved. Was that worth having us as your expense management tool? I wonder how many times people look at the things they spend money on that way. The return. Is that how you look at even in your own business?
Yes. And obviously Clear has an easier time because we sit on the transactions. So it's comparing money to money as opposed to leads to money, where you have a sales cycle and maybe the lead was amazing, but your salesperson wasn't at the top of his game that day. So, you lost the lead. But for us, it's very easy. It's definitely how I look at it in my businesses, right? And I'm just like you. I'm an early adopter. If I find something that I don't know of, and because I'm so deep into tech, I should know a lot of these things. So if I find something I don't know, I'm the first person to try it out because it could be a game changer. And if you get on it first, then by the time everybody else catches on, you've got that much of an advantage on your competitors. So 100%. I mean, I'm a marketing guy at heart. So I know what fluff looks like. And there's a lot of fluff out there. You don't want fluff as a business owner, and you're bombarded with fluff day in, day out. So as a business owner, it's your responsibility to grow that intuition, that sense of, wait, that sounds a little too good to be true, or that might sound cool but doesn't have real world applications for my revenue. But you also have to have the flip side of that. Okay, this looks interesting.
So I want to go a little bit of a different direction here because I know you have some experience with this, and I want to talk about it a little bit because this is a hot topic right now. It seems to be the only thing that people are talking about. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but how do you see AI affecting the home service contractor space? Like, what do you like? I see it in your business, but do you see it like overall how it might affect the entire industry?
Yes, for sure. And I'll say this: AI is now a commodity. As of about 8 months ago, everybody has access to very advanced AI. However, the very advanced AI everybody has access to was trained on the same data, which is, let's call it, every bit of public data out there on the internet. Right? Basically, we scraped Google, we taught the AI to everything that Google knows, and now we can ask them questions, and it can really help us. What it doesn't have is proprietary data, your company's data. And I think that's where the real opportunity is. Because writing Christmas cards to grandma using AI is nice. It's cool. Saves you another 5 minutes of the day. But
come on, it's grandma. Yeah, let's keep the human touch there, right? At least, like, you can't write a letter to your grandma. Come on.
All right, to that distant aunt that never stops calling, right? To that one, you can use the AI for that. But that everybody has that. So if you try to leverage that to get any sort of business advantage, you're going to be left behind very quickly because it's a commodity. Everybody's going to do that. Everybody has access to ChatGPT today, and there are 50 other such tools that are trying to get to that level or better. So that part, that's not a competitive edge. What is a competitive edge?
Go ahead.
It's your own company data. So if you've been around for 30 years, right? This is a family-owned business. Your dad started, you took over, you had thousands of projects, right? Each of those projects is a data point. It's something that you learned by doing. It's data that only your company has. And if you use the brain of the AI, what we call the models, the LLMs, to train yourself or to train a specific robot, let's call it, on your own data to make decisions that are relevant, super relevant for your business, but really not relevant for any other business, you can use it to build better projections. You can use it to manage your specific team better. You can use it to tell you who you should hire and who you shouldn't hire. Obviously, you might still use your intuition, but this is
don't ever use that. Don't use intuition on hiring anybody. There is an exact science to it. It is scientific. Do not use intuition, please. Oh man. So first off, you give me a little bit of comfort because I've kind of gone down that road on my own business that we're pumping everything that we've ever done here at Contractor Coach Pro into an AI platform so it learns and knows us so that it speaks and sounds like us. We'll never take out the human relationship of what we do because we just think that's part of our secret sauce. But there's every moment counts today. And so the things that are, what difference does it make whether a human being is telling me or a AI powered bot is telling me the right answer?
I would argue that it makes zero difference. More than that,
You're absolutely correct. As a matter of fact, I'm more insured that the bot tells the correct answer because it's got the data to come off of instead of a human being going, "Hey, this time I'm going to try this," right? Like, try something off the cuff type situation.
very soon, I think you're not even going to know if the answer you got came from a human or from a bot.
I would agree, and I've been tested by some of it, and only because I know I'm testing it do I know. Like I'm doing this thing. I'm like, dude, is that really a test or was that somebody? Because I tried to trip it up every way I possibly could, and I was like, wow, that is pretty sharp. So that got me down the road of doing some of that myself. And we're a ways away from it. It takes a long time. We got, I don't know, 7,000 different templates and pieces of content and stuff like that just in the tools we provide to contractors. Plus, we have all of these podcasts I've ever done, plus the book I've written, plus like there's so much stuff that we're feeding into it so it can be us. And I think that's the real like next step with most AI. At least that's what I'm seeing.
I would argue that what you have in your mind, what you have in your brain, Jim, your entire life experience, you haven't even begun to download all of that into templates and content pieces and podcast episodes. So there's always going to be more things to train the AI on. And I think that's how you win with AI today.
That's really an important little nugget there because, contractors are technology averse. It's not their jam. They don't really want to do it. What they want to do is they want to buy it and just have it do its thing, which why I actually interviewed you. I think Clear actually is pretty simple. Most of the technology that I talk about, other than CRMs, I'm looking for that simplicity factor. Company Cam would be another example of that. Hey, take a picture, document the job. It's not that hard. And they can see the value in it instantly. That's what I like about what you guys do. Sometimes the CRM, you don't see the value in instantly, but down the road, you go, God, I got 10,000 people in here now that are my marketing database. Where do you see it going with technology in the contractor space? Are your salespeople not going to be needed anymore? Is there any cool stuff like that or an uncool, however you look at that stuff coming?
So I've recently come across a platform that emulates a salesperson over a voice call. And it sounds 95%. Certain words, it sounds a little weird, but like give it a year, you're not going to need salespeople. You're going to have a lead appear in your CRM saying, yeah, Mrs. Jones at so-and-so street needs her lawn cut. This is a job. We already closed it for you. Just go do it.
That's scary and crazy and kind of cool all mixed into one. Like, I don't have fear of it because I've got talents that I don't think any AI can ever replicate. And even in the sales world, like there's a part of it where somebody has to go measure something or verify something or that type of thing and probably close that deal. But I see that it's coming. I see, like, I don't go to Walmart anymore. I buy things on Amazon because that's the type of interaction I want on a transactional basis. This is also a transaction. It's like, hey, I want to get a new roof on my house or siding on my house or whatever it may be. I want to be in control of the whole process, and I don't need somebody out here selling it to me necessarily. Does that cause any of us fear?
I would say, more shouldn't cause fear for the simple reason that the very first, and maybe, for a while, that's how it's going to be. The very first thing that AI is going to solve for us is the things that are menial. It's the things that we don't want to do. It's the going to Walmart to buy, something, right? You don't need to have done what you do, Jim, for 40, 50 years in order to know how to go to Home Depot to buy, a piece of lumber, whatever. So
I've noticed even like Home Depot and Lowe's, I've started to order stuff like, hey, just send it out here. Here's what I need. Send it to me.
Right. And even if you had a system that did it for you, like did the online ordering for you, you wouldn't feel bad. You wouldn't hate it, right? You don't need your brain and your experience to do those things. And so by definition, what AI does for us is that it frees us up for the things that do require our brain. How to be a better service provider, both on the customer relations, customer success, retention type side, as well as making sure the job is done and done well. And that's not something AI is going to replace anytime soon. So no cause for concern. On the contrary, excitement that we can all do our job better and the parts that we love about our job better.
I always thought, like, I sit back today, I started my sales career, 35 years ago. Yeah, 35 years ago. And even before that, if you count all the like school stuff that or contests, and like I'm all about winning, right? And I saw early on, like, this is a skill, this is a talent that very, very few want to do. But if you were to master it, you can be very successful and you're very valuable. Like there's this, hey, this guy is an excellent salesperson. I will hire him and pay him whatever he needs to get to work for me. The first time in my life where I felt like that was threatened, like that mastery of a skill was threatened by technology. I think it's not something to be scared of. I think it's something to be aware of. And how do you position yourself moving forward to be that guy that knows how to make that work? Like that would be what I like, hey, I have all this stuff in here that would be really valuable to your sales AI. What does that look like? How can I sell that to you? Mm-hmm. It's just interesting to me. I think humans are pretty resilient. We figure out a way to survive type of thing. But yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. I have to admit, not scared, but uncomfortable. Like, hey man, that's the first time I've ever seen like a real soft skill be handled by technology.
I'm inclined to agree. That is, I like how you phrase it. It's the first time that you've seen a soft skill being handled by technology is exactly the way to put it, I think. No, I loved it. I'm going to steal
It's not perfect, like by any means yet, but if it's this far already, and like AI's like been a thing for, I know longer than 3 or 4 years, but it's like public awareness of it for 3 or 4 years, for it to be where it is already, how much longer is it going to take to like master the soft skills? The one thing I don't think it'll ever be able to do is leadership. I just don't think that part of it's going to be like, it can't be a CEO, or do you think it could? Could it be like we got an AI CEO?
No, not leadership nor relationships, which is the other important part.
So positioning your sales in a relationship sales situation. I don't think AI ever replaces the sales guy in the home service world that's got to put his eyes on something. I got to see the window. I got to measure the window. I got to measure the garage door. I can have technology show all the benefits and all, but nobody buys on features and benefits really. They buy on value and this intrinsic value. What's the best thing I can get for my money? And a salesperson has to solve that problem for most people, I think. Be interesting to see if AI can ever actually nail that or not.
I think we're a while out from that. I think AI would do a wonderful job for the SDR side, for the initial conversation, just making sure this is a real person with a real need, etc.
Qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Once that's qualified, a real person has to jump in.
I really hate interrupting these videos, but I needed to take a moment to tell you about Moment Finance. They are the technology company that makes financing simple and easy for your clients. If you're not offering financing right now, did you know that you're missing out on 20 to 30% of the sales that you can make? And then a company like Moment teaches you actually how to sell financing. Don't miss out on those opportunities to make more money doing what it is that you do by being able to close more sales. Check out Moment Finance down the link below. We'll see you later.
This has been really interesting. I dig these conversations because I always try to be, like I said, one step ahead. Like this thing's coming. I'm not going to, I remember when like the smartphone came out, and I kind of relate AI to all those big technological jumps. Like when the computer came out, when the smartphone came out, then you had SaaS products come out. Like those type of things made big shifts in what we could do and how fast we could do it as contractors. And as an owner, you're always in a pretty good position. As some of the support staff, you need to be aware, like, hey, I need to be thinking, how can I become valuable if this type of thing was to actually be able to do it as well as I can? I love that part because that causes us to be innovative and creative, to be a little bit smarter every day. And I think that's the most valuable skill we can all have, is to be disciplined on personal growth. Like, just, hey, every day, how do I get a little bit better? Do you do anything that you're like is a practice for you to be disciplined on personal growth, something learning wise each day?
I try to, definitely try to. I consume a lot of content because of what do I do?
I'm going to assume your content that you're consuming isn't like death scrolling reels on Instagram, though.
No, that's I have another household member that does that. I am more on the tech improvement side, more so than the personal growth, which is definitely something that I have promised myself I'll do more of this year.
What did you say? Did you say tech improvement, tag improvement? What was that?
So that was like the tech improvements, the technology, how it advances, because that's my world. And
but I would say that's personal growth. I mean, that's your world. You're gaining knowledge. It's giving you knowledge and expertise that the next guy doesn't have. You're practicing when they're not practicing, type of feel to it. I would just say that's a bit of personal growth there for sure.
I mean, yes, for sure. I think that especially this year, I've decided to do more on the personal growth side of things rather than the professional personal growth. And that's something I have started doing, definitely not doing enough, but more so than other years. And I think I'm a better person for it. I should have started years ago. I've always been in the entrepreneur business. Let's get more users, more money, more growth type business growth. I mean, and I definitely feel like I would have been better served if I started just a little bit earlier on the personal side.
That's really good. And I'm glad that you're seeing that, because it is two sides. There's this way to grow the business by having more business knowledge and more savvy about that kind of stuff, whether it's technology or processes or whatever it is that you're working on in your business. But there's this personal side of gaining knowledge and wisdom and instruction that it helps us lead better, to lead better lives, to have better relationships, that I think is actually more valuable than the business stuff. Like, but if you have that, the business stuff starts to become natural to you. There's a technical side to the business thing that I could always hire somebody for. But on the personal growth side, I can never hire somebody to replace me.
That's a great insight. Yeah, 100% agreed.
Man, this has been a great conversation. Omer, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners today that might help them in their world when it comes to technology, expense management, even AI and marketing? And you got a wide range of expertise. Anything that you're like, hey, if I was going to give them one golden nugget, it'd be this.
Just like you said, contractors have a natural aversion to technology, and I'm sure AI is no different. Definitely, I know it's hard, but clear an afternoon, one day, one afternoon of your life, just dive into that. Play around with it, see what it can do, ask it questions. Your life, I'll take two steps back. Maybe not your entire life might change, but you're going to definitely enjoy your work more. It will be cool. You'll see the value. Don't have to learn, you don't have to do a degree in computer science. Not necessary. The tools are there. They're there for you to grab. Just do it. You will enjoy your business more. Guaranteed.
That's awesome advice. I would give the same. Like, hey, anything that you're scared of, especially when it comes to technology world, go dive into it. That gives you a bit of knowledge that the next guy might not have. And that thing might not play out for you. It's very possible. But the AI thing, it ain't going away. It's just like your smartphone's not going away, just like your computer's not going away. If anything, it's only going to become bigger. And if we fall behind the curve, we're going to have a hell of a time catching up.
Not even going to say embrace it, just don't fight it. That's all.
Yeah, like, you don't have to love it, but you got to, like, I hate social media. I absolutely hate it, but I know that it has its place. It just it's required in what we do today. If somebody was interested in managing their expenses better, having it real time, knowing that they're not losing money when they shouldn't be losing, how do they get a hold of you, or do they get a hold of you, or is it clear? What do they do?
So any friend of yours, Jim, is a friend of mine. They can email me at omer@clyr.io. So that's clear, spelled with a Y. Same as our website, https www.clyr.io, CLYR. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. Just use my name. I'll be the first one that pops up. Happy to talk to anyone. And
yeah, you were the first person. Like, I did some research on you. You were definitely the first one that popped up.
that's part of the benefits of coming from a different country. I'm the only one with my name here.
Yeah, I was like, Omer, and hit an M, and it was you right away. So that was pretty cool. How do you say your last name, by the way?
Menashe.
Menashe. Okay, I would have messed that up completely, so I'm glad I asked. Awesome job today on the podcast, number one. Absolute professional. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with our listeners. And thanks for giving the contact information. I'm sure you'll have some people reaching out to you. And who knows, maybe a year or two from now, we'll have you on the show again and see where you are now on AI and expense tracking and all the fun stuff that goes on there.
With pleasure. I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much for having me, Jim. I had a blast.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Omer. It was great to hang out with you for about an hour here, and we'll see you down the road.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one.
That was Omer Menashe. I think I said it right that time. Well, I hope. He is the founder of Clear.io, an expense tracking management tool that will save you time, money, headache, all these things that are what we're doing whenever we're trying to find software that works for us. What I like about it is it's simple. It's simple. Take a picture of the receipt, text it to a number, text your form back so you can just put in a PO number and a little bit of information about it. And it'll automatically be tagged to all your jobs. Your expenses are accounted for. You know what if you're in budget or not in budget. Your forecasting is going to be more accurate. Your profitability is going to be higher. It just seems to me like it makes absolute sense to get involved and do a demo at least. Like, go check it out, see what it does. How hard is it? Is it something that is easy for you to incorporate, or is it going to be more than you can handle? I think they'll be okay with helping you through that process. I want to thank you guys for being here today, hanging out, listening a little bit about finance, a little bit about technology, a little bit about AI. Hopefully we didn't scare you. Hopefully we encouraged you to go and dig in on those things that are going to be things that we need to be paying attention to as business owners, entrepreneurs, and home service contractors today. If any of those things do cause you fear and you want some help with them, you want some coaching with them, you want somebody to walk beside you and be your guide along the way, that's what we do here at Contractor Coach Pro. We've helped hundreds of contractors just like you create a well-oiled machine that gives the business owner that personal and financial freedom they were chasing whenever they started their business. It allows them to grow and scale and lead their team well. Create a great customer experience for your clients. Be that brand in your market that everybody knows. If that's something that you want to be, check us out. It doesn't cost you anything. Take our free assessment. It'll be in the show notes down below, or you can go to our website, contractorcoachpro.com, and click on Take Assessment. Fill that assessment out. You'll be asked for a time that fits your schedule, and we'll do a true blue, real live coaching call with you. If coaching is something that fits you, great. We'd love to have you as one of our athletes. But if it's not, at least we served you well that day. We helped you with 2 or 3 things that you could do right away to help grow your business. Thanks for hanging out with us on this episode, and we'll see you on our next show.